Video, I am going to be sharing what Patrick Bet-David and Tom Blue had in this blasting podcast, hoping that you, the viewer, gets to understand how important it is to take charge as a man today and see what we can do to help our society. It seems a bit different, but actually does tie into a lot of the things I say, aligns with, again, a lot of the things that I've been dark side, embracing the dark side and just being a gentle beast. Without further ado, let's dive in and see what they've got to say.
Words, but talking about aggression in your book, what I call the dark energy. One, do you agree that the reason that I would want men, anybody listening to this, any man certainly out there, anybody that's training you to, you should have a gear that is soft. You should be able to be gentle. I'm not trying to create people that only have one gear, but one of your gears should be aggression, focus, determination, the ability to run through a wall to ensure that something gets done. That will not happen by accident. You are absolutely going to have to make that a value, turn that value into a set of skills, courage being one of them, and then pushing yourself forward in a very specific way towards a very specific aim. Do you agree with that need, or am I missing something?
I love the way you put it. I love the way you put it. So the key word here we use is business planning for the audacious few, right? Audacious few, audacious few. It's not for everybody. It's the audacious few. For example, when you break down who you want to be in life, okay, I don't know if you're a sports guy or not. You watch a sports team. There's a guy that's just a supporting cast. That's what he does. That's the role he's going to play. There's a guy that is coming off the bench, and he does what he does. Then there's a guy that's the flag carrier to the best guy. Okay, each team's got a flag carrier in a lot of places. There was this player named Paul George. He runs a podcast with one of my good friend, Dudley Rutherford's son, Dallas. They do a very good job together, and they interview other basketball players. And he said something so powerful in one of the podcasts. He says, look, it took me years to realize I can't win a championship as a number one. He says, I've been the best player on a team. I can't win a championship as a number one. I can win a championship as a 2 and a 3, but I can't win as a 1. Guess what? He realized he has to be a flag carrier. He's not a 1. This week I had Ron DeSantis on the podcast. Governor Ron DeSantis, right. Should watch the whole thing because it's a pretty fiery podcast that
get to the end.
Caused...
you have so much content now that...
Well, and ended up causing the number 2 trending hashtag for 2 days.
Did you guys end up arguing? Because the part I saw, you guys were very cordial.
We didn't end up arguing, but I asked him a couple tough questions about marketing, his boots, and all this other stuff, and a video of him, Trump. Anyways, it was a bunch of different things we talked about. But when I'm talking to DeSantis, I asked him the following question. I said, I think there's 2 different types of presidents. And he says, what type? I said, one is alphas.
Yep.
Lincoln is the alpha. Ulysses S. Grant is the flag carrier. He became a 2-term president. Not a great president, but he was not an alpha. Okay, he needed Lincoln to be the flag carrier too. Ike, alpha. Nixon, he was a flag carrier. John F. Kennedy, alpha. LBJ took him out. He became president, allegedly. You got Reagan, alpha. Okay, senior is a flag carrier. You got Obama, alpha. Bill Clinton, alpha. Those 2 are alphas. Trump, alpha. George Bush the son, flag carrier, father, lineage, Prescott. Then you have Biden today. He's a flag carrier. His way of becoming a president was, Obama, you're the greatest, you're the best, you're this, you're that. Boom. This is your opportunity for being loyal to me. Now I will come work for you. You become the president, right? I asked Governor DeSantis, do you think you're the alpha or a flag carrier? Okay. Now his answer could be whatever he thinks it is, but the market's going to determine whether he's an alpha or he's a flag carrier.
What do you think? He said alpha. Well,
he said
technically
alpha.
He said I'm a leader.
And by the way, you may be an alpha in a room of 50. You may be an alpha in a company of 1,000. You may be the alpha in a company of 100,000. You may be the alpha in a state of 30 million, but you may not be the alpha in a country of 340 million. Alphas have levels, and it depends what level of an alpha you can be. And that's very tough to swallow for everybody. It's not for everybody. And why is that? Here's why. You said something very interesting. You used a couple words and you said, 2 reasons, business, all this stuff. Your wife gets sick and you're going to an appointment. What do you do with that? There is no manual that says, hey, when your wife gets cancer, 19 steps on what to do next. There is no such thing as that. Your son just went through this. Here's the 8 steps. There is no manual for that in life. And by the way, the people who went through those situations I recommended this book recently. I read the book 2008 when it first came out by the coach of Indianapolis Colts. The book is called Quiet Strength, Tony Dungy, okay? I don't know if you know the story or not. He's coaching. The weekend of Super Bowl, he's about to win his first Super Bowl ever, okay? His son dies at 23 years old.
Jesus.
His son dies at 23, 24 years old. There isn't a single person in the world that's expecting this guy to be there on Sunday to coach. If he didn't, what would you and I say? We wouldn't judge him. We're like, dude, what are you talking about? Totally get it. This guy chooses to show up to the game with a smile on his face. He says, because I believe he's in a better place. He's with God right now. I'm at peace. They win the game. I got the chills all over my body. He writes this book, Quiet Strength. Incredible book. I remember I heard this guy speak, gave a talk when he came out. And go explain that to somebody and say, hey, you should go coach. Nobody has the permission to tell anybody to go coach. That's the individual's level of handling chaos, pressure, pain, and everyone's different in that. There's not a manual for that. However, where I'm going with this on the alpha side is if you want to be the guy of the guys of other guys, you can't go by the standard as everybody else does. For example, World War II is taking place, okay? Chamberlain is doing what he's doing, UK. The most hated guy in that country is a journalist who talks shit about everybody, okay? Who Chamberlain hates, disgusted by him, very arrogant, very cocky, pompous sometimes. If Twitter was around when Churchill was around, he'd be on Twitter all the time. That kind of a guy. He had an opinion about everybody, and he was only 5'6". You know what Chamberlain has to do? He has to beg Churchill to show up. Churchill shows up. The only man that was able to face the most feared man in the world was Churchill. Churchill may be the reason why we're doing this interview in English and not in German today. Yeah. Think about the power of that. However,
just gave me the chills.
This guy, Churchill, that we're talking about, was hated, but he was a wartime leader. When war took place, everybody had to call the person they hate the most because they knew they were not cut for that job. It's not for them. So there's the levels of alpha. There's the levels of success you want in life. There's a reason why Jordan said, you know, if you don't want to play, you know, but I'm going to win in the last dance. And he starts crying. You know, you're like, dude, I can see this guy's fire. That's why there's only one mic. That's why we were all glued to the screen for 5 weeks on Sundays watching 2 episodes from 8 to 10 o'clock. And we were all blown away by how this guy was wired. But who got pissed off afterwards? Scottie Pippen. And then Scottie writes a book. And in the interview, he's being asked, Scottie, how do you want to be remembered? And he's got a smirk on his face. He says, I want to be remembered as the greatest of all time. Dude, you're not the greatest of all time. You're top 50. See, he forgot. He was a flag carrier, and he wanted the respect of this guy. To have the respect of this guy is not duplicatable. That's a lot of effort. So for somebody watching this, again, choose your enemies wisely, but it's business planning for the audacious few, not the timid majority. It's not for everybody. This is for the audacious few. If you feel you're part of the audacious few, this book's for you. If not, it's not for everybody.
I hope this video has given you the impact you need to embrace in order for you to make the change in your personal life. But more than anything, I hope this video has taught men, like it taught myself, how to embrace your dark side and embrace your ferocity, but do good with it. Choose what. Don't let it burn you. Don't let it override your control. Take correction we're taking. I'm really sort of going to start to embrace what changed me so that I can share with you the challenges I faced and how I overcame them so that you can have the same or even a better result. That's all I want. Alright, so guys, without further ado, see you in the next video. If you want to know more about what I actually done, definitely check out this video. Do this and transform yourself in 2024. Let's stay powerful and let's see how the end of the year turns out for us. There's